He had been Attorney General for approximately 12 hours. 12 hours after Trump fired Pam Bondi and named Todd Blanche as acting Attorney General, Blanche sat down with Jesse Watters on Fox News. Watters is not a hostile interviewer. He is Trump's most reliable media ally. He has defended the administration through every controversy, every setback, every piece of bad news that has crossed his desk. When Watters pushes back, it matters because there is almost no other context in which that happens.
Okay, well, I mean, you've combed through these files, right? Who was Epstein spying for?
Look, everything. I don't know that he was spying for anybody. Nobody's ever said that.
No? You don't think he might have been a spy for a foreign country?
I have no idea if he was a spy. All I know is that we don't have any evidence in the Epstein files that the FBI collected over 15 years that suggests that, Jesse.
And Watters pushed back repeatedly on the same network that has defended every Epstein-related decision this administration has made. Here is how the exchange unfolded. Watters asked Blanche directly, "Will we learn the identities of the men in the Epstein files?" Blanche said, "What does that mean? I don't understand what that means." That is the response of the acting Attorney General of the United States to the single most direct question about the Epstein investigation. Not a legal objection, not a claim of privilege, not a reference to ongoing proceedings, a statement that he does not understand what the question means. The question means this: over 1,000 women and girls were abused. The men who participated in that abuse, who flew on Epstein's planes, who visited his properties, who were documented in 15 years of FBI investigation, most of their names remain hidden, redacted, protected, while the names and photographs of victims were published without consent on a public government website. That is what the question means. And the man now running the Department of Justice said he did not understand it. But Blanche was not finished. He also said this: "It's not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein, not a crime to party with a man convicted of sex trafficking, not a crime to appear in the flight logs of a plane used to transport trafficking victims, not a crime to have your name documented dozens of times in 15 years of FBI investigation into a network that abused over 1,000 girls, not a crime to party with him." That sentence is not a legal defense. It is a characterization. It is the acting Attorney General of the United States describing Jeffrey Epstein's documented trafficking operation as a party, and using that characterization to explain why the names of the men connected to him will not be made public. Watters, the most Trump-aligned primetime host in American television, sat with that answer for a moment and then told Blanche the truth. "I'm not sure you totally get what people feel about that." Not a Democrat, not a progressive commentator. Jesse Watters on Fox News, telling the new acting Attorney General that he fundamentally does not understand what the American public believes about the Epstein case. A CNN panel played the clip the next day and laughed out loud. Legal analyst Elliot Williams let out an audible laugh off camera. A GOP strategist said Watters was right. The White House correspondent for the Associated Press said, "Jesse Watters, of all people." Even Fox News' own audience was not buying it. Here is the record Blanche was defending when he said he did not understand the question. The Department of Justice reviewed approximately 6 million documents potentially related to the Epstein investigation. It released roughly 3.5 million. About half remain withheld, redacted, or suppressed. The 86-page SDNY prosecution memo, the document that prosecutors used to build their case, has never been fully released. The Epstein Files Transparency Act, which Trump signed, requires the release of all unclassified materials. Multiple members of Congress from both parties have said that requirement is being violated. Representative Robert Garcia responded to Blanche's Fox News appearance within hours. This is a lie. About 50% of the files have been released. Per our subpoena, it is illegal to withhold them. Blanche may think it is over. We are just getting started, and here is the detail that every member of the public watching this needs to understand. Todd Blanche is not a new arrival to this story. He was there for all of it. He was Trump's personal defense attorney. He sat beside Trump when the jury found him guilty in New York. He was brought into the DOJ as Deputy Attorney General specifically because of his loyalty to the president. He conducted the 2-day interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman convicted of trafficking girls for Epstein, in a federal prison last summer. That's days after that interview. Maxwell was moved from a higher security facility to a minimum security camp in Texas, where she receives custom meals and is allowed to play with therapy dogs. Blanche said at the time that Maxwell was suffering serious threats to her life that justified the transfer. Blanche said on Fox News that the files have all been released. Blanche said he does not understand what it would mean to name the abusers. Blanche said it is not a crime to party with Epstein. He is now the Attorney General. The man who does not understand the question controls the files that contain the answer. Bondi was fired because the base was angry, because Trump's own supporters, the people who voted for him specifically believing he would finally expose the powerful, felt cheated by what came out, by the binders with no new information, by the client list that existed until it didn't, by the survivors' names published while perpetrators stayed hidden. Bondi was supposed to deliver transparency. She delivered the opposite, and Trump fired her. The replacement just went on national television and said he does not understand what naming the abusers would mean. Jesse Waters understood. The CNN panel understood. Robert Garcia understood. The over 1,000 women and girls documented in those files certainly understand. The acting Attorney General of the United States said he did not, and the files are still half hidden.